Hi friends. Hi, Girish, Assistant Professor, Soundarya Institute of Management and Science, welcomes you for a video lecturing on deductions under section 80C to 80U. In income tax, we should not think that government is always try to levy some taxes on people. Legally, government always allows us to claim certain deductions on our incomes because all the incomes that what we are going to earn we are not going to save. We are going to spend the money on different sources or for different purposes. Whenever we spend the money, indirectly we are paying taxes to the government. To avoid such double taxation system, government allows us to claim certain deductions under section 80. Those deductions are clearly classified under section 80C to 80U. Unless we are clear about this particular sections, we cannot file our returns and it is very difficult to assess the tax. Let us discuss about the various deductions which are allowable to the assessee, or an assessee can claim the deduction amount from his tax. First one, section 80C, a very important section where the major amount of contribution towards the deductions will be given by this particular section. 80C is always discuss about the qualified savings. So you have to understand one very important thing here, that is the savings aspect. The amount of savings for essential things and the savings made for future purposes by an assessee, how he can claim deductions. In this particular section we are going to discuss. See here, contribution to PF, that is provident fund. Besides any contribution made by the employer and employee in lieu of salary, certain other pension fund can be opened by an individual with the government, which is popularly known as PPF, that is public provident fund, or he can go for any other PF accounts in the government except unrecognized provident fund. If he spends any amount or if he contribute any amount towards URPF, or if he saves any amount by means of URPF, that is not qualified for the deductions under section 80C. Next one, life insurance premium. Usually life insurance premium is not only allowed for an individual and also for his family members like spouse and children, especially the children who are dependent on their parents only. If they are earning children, such kind of deductions are not allowed. Then contribution to post office cumulative term deposits. Cumulative term deposits. What do you mean by cumulative term deposit here? The term deposits are nothing but the recurring deposits, which is popularly called it as RD account. Cumulative means we keeps on paying the amount and same will be accumulated. Say for example, if I pay 100 rupees this month, next month I am going to pay 100 rupees. A fixed amount I am going to pay periodically. So every month 100 rupees will be added into my account at the end of the day, along with the total amount what I have deposited through my account. I'll get some amount of interest also. Any such amount of deposits made in a post office bank account, then same will be eligible for deduction under section 80C. Next, subscription to notified central government schemes. There are so many notified central government schemes. Central government timely provides saving opportunity to their citizens, by means of issuing bonds. Previously there was a Kisan Vikas Patra, there was a Indira Vikas Patra. Nowadays such kind of 5 years amount doubling bonds are not there, but still central government keeps on issuing certain bonds where if any individual deposited his amount and saved his amount by means of that, he or she is eligible for deduction under section 80C. Next, subscription to notified deposit scheme. Subscribing to notified deposit scheme. Only notified deposit schemes by central government nowadays. In the means of mutual funds. Government has tied up with many of the organizations. Say for example, if NABARD is there, NABARD is also going to issue certain bonds. Then there are other financial institutions which are notified by the RBI or central government are issuing certain bonds. If you deposit any amount there, he or she will get the benefit of deductions. Then investment linked schemes in the form of LIC and UTI bonds or mutual funds. This is one very important. What do you mean by mutual fund? Whatever the amount that I am going to deposit or invest in certain bonds, same will be invested in large scale industries, and whatever the dividends paid by those industries in turn will be payable to the original investor. The financial institution will just act as the intermediaries there and create the bridge between the original investor and investment seekers. Okay, so this is one. Next, payment to group insurance scheme. Usually employers will go for group insurance, where employees will also contribute certain amount towards group insurance. Any such amount invested or saved by the assessee is eligible for deduction under section 80C. Next, tuition fees paid for children. This is one very important one. Nowadays education has become very costly in countries like India, especially if any children admitted to a private institutions, where the major portion of the incomes of parent are spent to children's education. Say for example, if a parent has become an assessee, earned rupees 4 lakh per annum, where he is supposed to pay 50,000, 60,000 or 70,000 fees to the schools, but on 4 lakh he has to supposed to pay tax. To avoid such a burden on an individual assessee, whatever the tuition fees, only the part of tuition fees, not in any other form, paid as educational fees to the children can be claimed as deduction. So this is one. But one very important, all put together this 80C should not be exceeded 1,50,000. That is one very important thing. Next, let us go for section 80CCC. Here it is mentioned as pension fund. Any amount paid or deposited in an annuity or any other policies issued by Life Insurance Corporation or any other financial institution. You can see lot of advertisement nowadays. ICICI, Lombard Insurance, HDFC Insurance, they are providing the pension schemes, where the persons who are not going to get the pensions, who are not eligible for pension, say for example those who are working in a private sector, they will not get a pension after their superannuation or after their retirement. Then what they can do to secure their life? They can save certain amount of money when they are in employment, where a certain part of salary they are going to invest or they are going to save in certain schemes issued by various financial institutions. Once a particular person attains a superannuation either by age or by any other form of retirement schemes, then after retirement till his death he keeps on getting the periodical pension from such financial institution. So such a scheme is called pension fund scheme. That such kind of pension fund scheme is eligible to claim the deduction under section 80CCC. Here, deduction allowable should be the list of the following: actual amount paid or deposited. Say for example, if I have opted for a pension scheme offered by the LIC, that is Life Insurance Corporation, by depositing rupees 10,000 per month out of my salaries, then per annum I am supposed to pay 1,20,000 rupees towards such scheme. I can claim 1,50,000 as deduction because I have paid 1,20,000. But if I paid more than 1,50,000, then I can claim only 1,50,000. So that is one threshold limit given by the government, that is tax authorities, under this particular section. So this is about 80CCC. Then 80CCD, new pension scheme. This is one of the very important scheme because any government employees who were appointed after 1/1/2004, after 1/1, please remember this particular date, 1/1/2004, they will not get any amount of pension after their superannuation or retirement. Then what they are supposed to do? This is one very important thing to the benefit of such government employees who are appointed after 1/1/2004. Government has given one particular benefit, that is any investment made by such employees towards this particular scheme, that is NPS, new pension scheme, then such employees can avail deductions from their tax, from their income while paying the tax or while assessing the tax, provided the deduction is less than 10% of salary. Here salary means basic salary plus dearness allowances if it is a part of retirement benefit. Any DA paid which is a part of retirement benefit, basic plus DA will be considered as a salary. This particular amount of deduction should not be exceeded 10% of salary. If it is exceeds 10% of salary, then such employee cannot claim any deductions under this particular section. See, as I explained, it is applicable only for the employees who are appointed after 1/1/2004, because the employees who were appointed before 1/1/2004, obviously they are eligible for pension. After 1/1/2004, there is no eligibility of pension, so that it is applicable for only those employees. Then the amount of deduction is total employer and employee contribution. This is one very important. How we are going to consider total contribution towards this notified pension fund during the year are 10% of salary, whichever is less. Suppose if a particular person's salary, basic salary is 40,000 plus DA is 50,000, DA is 10,000 totally, he is going to earn 50,000 per month as a salary. 50,000 into 12, obviously it is 6 lakhs. Suppose if he is earning 6 lakhs and if he is contributing more than 10% of that, that is more than 60,000 in an annum towards this particular scheme, then he cannot avail the benefit. Or suppose if employee is contributing, say for example nowadays whatever we call PF, provident fund is there, no? Provident fund, there will be an equal contribution between employer and employee, which should not exceed 12% of salary, 12% of salary, and it is restricted up to 15,000, up to 15,000. That means 1,800 rupees per month. If a employee is drawing 15,000 salary, then from his salary 12%, that is 1,800, will be deducted as provident fund, and same 1,800 will be contributed by employer. Out of those amount, around 7.2% of the amount of employer's contribution, 7.2% of employer's contribution will be deposited in a fund called new pension scheme fund. New pension scheme fund. Such amount should not exceed, both employers and employees contribution should not exceed 10% of salary, or total amount contribution by the employer and employee or 10% of salary, whichever is less will be considered, whichever is less will be considered. Here the most important thing is, one should remember this very important thing is, whatever the deduction that you are going to claim, whatever the deductions that you are going to claim from section 80C, section 80CC and section 80CCD, the aggregate of the total deduction should not exceed rupees 1,50,000. There is a threshold limit of 1,50,000. Such amount should not exceed that, should not exceed that. 80C, 80CC and 80CCD put together, it is limited to 1,50,000. It is limited to 1,50,000. So this is the beauty of section 80C. So these are all the various schemes under section 80CC. Next one, deductions under section 80D. Deductions under section 80D. Section 80D is all about the medical expenses. Medical expenses. See, 80C is towards savings, 80D is medical expenses. Here, if you have taken a medical policy, say for example, nowadays it has become a quite common factor that every individual is going to opt for medical claim or mediclaim policies. If any premium paid towards such kind of policies to keep your health force in a good way, if any amount paid towards that, you can claim certain deductions. Suppose if he or she is an individual, if he is an individual, then he or she is eligible to claim deductions under this particular section, not only for his and also for his spouse and his dependent children. Dependent children. If children are earning, then obviously they cannot claim this. Self, he or she or his or her spouse and dependent children. In case of Hindu undivided family, then the entire family, brother, sister or whoever is there in the family are considered as one unit to claim this particular deduction. Here the maximum limit in case of a normal citizen is 25,000 rupees per annum, and in case of senior citizens is 30,000 per annum. Suppose if you are paying a medical claim policy of 40,000 per annum, then you can claim only 25,000 as deduction if you are a normal citizen, and if you are a senior citizen you can claim up to 30,000. Next one, 80DD. As I explained, 80D is all about medical. 80D is individual medical expenses, whereas 80DD is medical treatment for dependent disabled. Actually, we cannot call them as disabled nowadays. We can call them as Divyang or differently abled. Differently abled. If any dependent, differently abled persons are there in the family, if you spend any amount towards medical expenses of the dependent disabled, then that particular assessee can claim deductions under section 80DD. Here, any amount paid or any medical expenses incurred for treatment, training or rehabilitation. Treatment, training, rehabilitation in case of mentally disordered persons, you can go for rehabilitation centers. That is also eligible. Of dependent disabled. Any amount paid or deposited under a scheme framed in this behalf by LIC or any other institution. Sometimes instead of spending on your own from your own pocket, you can go for any insurance scheme offered by either LIC or any other insurance companies to look after the medical expenses of dependent disabled. If you pay any premium towards that, that is also eligible for deduction. Then how much? Flat deductions of rupees 75,000 allowed. Flat means how much ever you spend. Even if you spend 5,000 per annum on medical expenses of this disabled person, still you can claim 75,000. That is 75,000 for a normal disabled person, and if a person is severely disabled, then you can avail a deduction up to rupees 1,25,000. This is all about section 80DD. Next one, section 80E, interest on educational loan. According to me, one of the best policies, one of the best deductions scheme that is given to the assessees, because in countries like India, the people are worried about three factors. One is obviously the education of the children is very costlier. Second one, the medical expenses is very costly. And third one, due to some uncertainties, we need to save the amount. The government has taken all three dimensions, all three factors into consideration, and they provided certain schemes to claim the deductions. Here under section 80E, donations are available for interest payments in the initial assessment year. See, suppose if you have taken a loan now in the year 2018-19, so in the initial year and 7 succeeding years, so you can claim the deductions on the interest paid towards the educational loan for next 7 years. For next 7 years or until the interest is paid in full. Normally that means the educational loans are provided for the maximum of 10 years. For the maximum of 7 years. So you can claim deductions on only interest paid on educational loans for 7 years or until the interest is paid in full. Until the interest is paid in full, there is no limit to claim such an amount. Suppose if you are paying 1 lakh interest per annum, you can claim 1 lakh deductions. Okay, there is no threshold limit for this. So this is about section 80E. Next one, section 80G. It is about donation. Especially now we are in this pandemic COVID-19 distress period. The Prime Minister Narendra Modi appealed each one of us, whoever has a capacity to sustain financially out of their savings amount, they can contribute to survive their neighbors to come out of this pandemic situation by donating certain amount towards Prime Minister Cares Fund. Prime Minister Cares Fund. That is one kind of donation scheme given by the government of India. If you donate anything under such scheme, you will get full amount of deduction. Suppose if you donate 1 lakh, towards PM Cares, at the time of assessing your income, after calculating the gross total income, that is income from all 5 heads, still you can deduct under section 80C that 1 lakh. It is 100% eligibility of deduction is there. That is allowed under section 80G. Now, what are all the schemes are there? Prime Minister PMNRF, that is Prime Minister National Relief Fund. This fund is normally used under natural disasters time. Natural disasters. If any states suffer from natural disasters, the central government will provide an aid or support through this particular fund. Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund. Hence, Indian agricultural activities are always playing with monsoon. If any monsoon doesn't support the farmers at the right time, then definitely the farmers will suffer from drought. Under such situation, government will provide certain aid to them through Prime Minister Drought Relief Fund. National Children's Fund, NCF is there. Rajiv Gandhi Foundation is there, where if you contribute something, you will get 100% deduction. Government or any other local authorities which are promoting the family planning programs, donation to certain funds, charitable institution. Now, how much deductions that you are going to get? Very simple. Anything that you donate towards Prime Minister's fund, anything which is associated with Prime Minister, if you donate there, you will get 100% deductions. You will get 100% deduction if you donate for scientific development, for society development schemes, or any social research schemes. 100% deductions can be claimed. If you donate to any other schemes like charitable institution, charitable fund, or any other fund, then you can claim up to 50%. Up to 50%. But there is one important aspect that you should look into. If you donate anything in excess of 10,000 in cash, anything in excess of 10,000 in cash, then he or she is not eligible to claim deduction under this particular scheme. So this is all about section 80G. This is one very, very important one, especially examination point of view. You'll get one 6 marks question on this. 80GG, one very, very important one. In countries like India, most of the employees neither getting HRA, that is house rent allowances from their employees, nor getting rent-free accommodation, but they are residing in a rented house. Then what they are supposed to do? They can claim deduction under section 80GG. That is one scheme provided to such kind of residents individuals. What are all the conditions? Here, assessee is not receiving HRA. If assessee is not receiving any HRA, then he can claim. In case of employee is not providing any rent-free accommodation, if an employer is not providing any rent-free accommodation like quarters or any other thing to the employee, and if an assessee is paying the rent out of his own pocket, then he can claim the deduction under section 80GG. This is one. And the last one, that is section 80U, person with disability. Under section 80DD, what we discussed is, if any disabled dependent persons are there, then if you spend any expenses towards their medical treatment, medical training, or medical rehabilitation, then you could have claimed the amount. But here, own disability. If the individual who at any time during the previous year, suppose due to some accidents, due to any other factors, due to some natural calamity, say for example, yesterday one greatest disaster took place in Visakhapatnam, where the Neptune gas was leaked. Due to that, many people, as many as 11 people died, and many other people were hospitalized, even though they discharge from the hospital healthily. In future, they may attack with the paralysis, they may incur with some cancer, so they may go for some disabilities. Then under such circumstances, in any of the previous year, suddenly if an assessee become disabled, and if it is certified by the medical authorities, then he can claim the deductions which is as applicable for his dependent, that is the threshold limit of 75,000 if the disability is not so severe, and if the disability is so severe, then he can avail the deductions of rupees 1,25,000. So these are all the various schemes available for the assessee to avail what? Deductions from his gross total income. So this is one very important aspect. If you can understand this, then you can file your own returns, or you can help others to file their returns. Thank you. Hope you understood all these concepts. Thank you.